Now for a very hot discussion on the Reproductive Health Bill on a Monday. With us in the studio are Gabriela Representative Luz Ilagan and Tour Guide Carlos Celdran. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, well, I want to ask Carlos first. How were your evenings in jail? How many nights were you there, by the way?
I was only there for 24 hours.
Okay.
It was really nothing if you really come to think about it.
24. Did you spend the night?
Spend the night, slept there, woke up there. Luckily, I didn't go to the bathroom there. That's why I didn't eat pretty much the whole time that I was there. But as a reflection, it was an eye-opener as well for me. Because, you know, if you think about it, I knew somewhere or another I was going to get out, whether it be through bail or whatever. But if you really think about it, the people who were in there with me, who didn't have the same privileges that I have, of that of a lawyer, or that of being from a particular sector of society.
Or accused of heavier crimes.
Yeah, or like even like the Modern 43. Like, a lot of people are still being incarcerated without any release in sight.
Yeah.
I kind of knew I had a release in sight simply because I knew that my crime was I don't even consider it to be a crime just yet. So I knew I had a chance to get out, and that was kind of comforting for me, more than my cellmates.
Okay. Now I want to know first, what were you thinking? What happened?
Apparently, I wasn't.
What happened with your indulgence, Congresswoman?
Sure.
What were you thinking? There was mass, and then I want to know what made you do it. Tell me what went through your mind.
I guess I was just driven by exasperation already, and I knew how, and I just decided to express it in the best way I know how, which is through theater and performance art, and through just the way that I know how to express myself, like the way I do during my tours. Well, I guess my tipping point was when they threatened civil disobedience, and when they threatened excommunication to the president, and I realized that, you know, if I don't speak up in a way that I feel is the most comfortable in my own manner, then the time is not. Then I'll just be delaying the argument for one more week. Because doing the protest outside would have been really kenkoy. I mean, like, if I just had a picture of like me in the parking lot. I mean, there's so many pictures of people in the parking lot. I mean, the proper time and place was right there. The RH bill has been waiting in Congress for 14 years.
Yeah.
If a girl was born by the time that Celdran and Gabriela filed the bill back 14 years ago, she could have had a kid by now. Right? So when people tell me, like, you're out of place, this is not the right time, this is not the right venue, is 14 years not long enough? And is a parking lot really the venue that you want to keep going for? I mean, really, you had to, I really felt like divine providence brought me to that altar because of the rain, because of all of the circumstances. It just, all of a sudden, I just woke up and I was there.
But you really attended the mass?
No.
You really went?
I went inside. But, you know, the details of the case, I actually have to say, would probably have to be best discussed by my counsel, Marlon Manuel. So, you know, we'd probably have to save all the details for the trial and stuff like that.
Now, you'd have to explain, of course, to our viewers why you chose the word damaso, and that is also because you're a tour guide in Intramuros.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a...
Jose Rizal is a focus of my tour all the time, right? And Padre Damaso is the antagonist of the book. If you really come to think about it, Jose Rizal was a little bit of a coño kid, you know? I mean, he really wasn't that much against Spain. He was more against theocracy and the abuses of friars to get what they want.
Okay.
And I found that analogy going on with the threatening of civil disobedience, excommunication. These are abusive friars who are using their power in the pulpit to get what they want. And if they can use this power in that pulpit, in this particular sacred space, to push their agenda, why can't we do it as well on their own home ground? After all, we are the people. Why can't the sermon go both ways? So that's why I decided to use the Father Damaso and the Jose Rizal analogy to sort of make people realize that that history hasn't changed, that it's still 1895 going on out there, except that we have an uglier wardrobe and cell phones.
All right. Now, Congresswoman, there's been much talk on exactly the contents of the RH bill. Can you run it by us? Enumerate the points. What is exactly in the bill?
All right. This reproductive health bill that Gabriela Women's Party is pushing is entitled Comprehensive Reproductive Health Act.
Okay.
it is not limited only to contraceptives.
Okay.
It takes the whole range
Okay.
of services that government should provide our
Okay.
people. It takes into consideration that we have a large percentage of people who are poor.
Okay.
Women who do not have access to medical health services.
Yes.
Women who are not even informed as
Yeah.
to how they should manage their fertility. And we should take a look at the whole cycle, the life cycle, from young women to childbearing years and finally to the menopausal women also.
Okay, so Congresswoman, in the bill, that would provide free supply, in effect, of
Yes.
condoms, pills. What would be free?
That free thing
Yeah.
would be, first, information,
Okay.
education to couples, not only to women, but also to men. And after information, right education, then there should be supplies available in our health centers,
All right.
in our hospitals.
right.
But if people can afford to buy, why not? But we are considering the majority of those who cannot afford and those who do not have access. So it is the responsibility of government to provide access after informed choice,
Okay.
after decisions have been made by the couple as to which form is appropriate, safe, and available for them.
Okay, now when it comes to for the state providing, have you calculated how much that would take every year?
No, we haven't, because our population is also growing,
Okay.
and we do not know exactly how many would have the wherewithal to
Yeah.
go to the health centers. But there should already be a budget, an amount set aside
Yeah.
for hospitals. Unfortunately, we slashed even the budget for the Department of Health. And so it's most unfortunate that we are prevented from
Yeah.
taking a look at the whole range of needs that
Okay.
our women have.
But I remember the USAID was actually supplying free contraceptives at one point, and then they took it out.
Yes, whatever their reasons are, but those are actions coming from the U.S. Now, we can question that later as to what the motives are. There may be conditionalities, but at this point, it is the obligation of government to look for ways and means to assist the majority of our women.
Okay, now when it comes to sex education, what exactly does it say there? What age, what year is it taught?
We are talking about age-appropriate sex education. And that would be around grade 3, grade 4, when young girls, young boys are already undergoing changes in their bodies. It is high time that we already anticipate questions, but the manner of informing them, the manner of teaching them would be appropriate for their age and their level. Because, you know, in the provinces or even here in the urban centers, many of our young girls even stop schooling before they reach grade 6. What opportunity would they have to receive the right information if they can no longer go to school? And that is why we believe that even younger than grade 3 or grade 2, we can already provide age-appropriate education based, of course, on what the needs are of these children.
Now, 14 years and waiting, do you think this is the time for the RH bill already?
Oh yes, definitely. It has been delayed. It is high time that we study it. It is high time that we do not react adversely.
bill.
Read the bill first, find out what it contains before people jump into the bandwagon and say everybody should be excommunicated.
Okay.
Because,
Now,
they
does the
propose
bill
this.
make abortion accessible?
Abortion is not the issue here. In fact, the bill has provisions which might even prevent abortion because we are providing correct information, we are providing the needed material so that women can make the choice. Because in our data, it is shown that majority of the poor have an average of 5 to 6 children, whereas those in the upper classes have
Have two
only
or
2
three.
or 3. So,
True.
where is the problem? I believe that we should not prevent government from doing its job, and it should not abdicate its responsibility to take care of the majority of our people.
So how do you feel about the church really pushing it, and you have bishops saying, threatening excommunication, calling on civil disobedience?
That's a very sad thing to do. It's almost tragic because they haven't even studied the bill yet, and they have already arrived at these conclusions. So, they should not threaten. They should take good care of their flock and do the right thing also as far as they're concerned. They should be moral examples, but they should not encroach on the jurisdiction of government.
Okay, you had a funny expression when she said they should be moral examples. Why is that?
Well, you know, I have to agree with that, because if that's where the hypocrisy comes in, right? If one really looks at the institution, the Catholic Church right now, it is completely divided simply because of a lot of the abuses that are happening by priests abroad and here today. Although I'd like to keep the message of RH and human rights and everything as the focus of the protest that I did, one can't deny that these abuses of friars are really taking them off the moral high horse.
Okay. Yeah, you were mentioning something specific earlier.
What kind of Well, like when the CBCP came out with that magazine article, the newspaper article saying that there were no more damasos in the Philippines, that just blew me over the top, because I work with one damaso. The director of our museum, the San Agustin Museum, Father Galende, has just been recently found out to have children, and has been known to and was taking, the numbers still vary, but people say it's within the millions of pesos from the museum itself to support that child, or is it children, and a couple of blackmailers. So now the provincial officers of the Augustinian order in Spain is in Manila right now to hold a trial. And I guess the fate is that he will be transferred back to Spain. So when they say that there's no damaso in our midst, all I have to tell the CBCP is to just please look right next door to you in a museum that I'm probably going to be banned from touring right now. But I just have to show this example that if you want to teach morals, then you have to be moral yourself.
Okay.
Right.
All right, that's a very good point. Your thoughts?
Well, I agree that the church should take good care of what it should be doing, and that is the spiritual aspect of a person's life. But government and agencies under government should not abdicate its responsibilities to our people. And so we should refrain from threats. We should refrain from issuing statements that would muddle the whole issue. Because here is a bill that still has to be taken up in the committee. It has to be discussed thoroughly. It has to be debated on. And so we should open it up to the people and listen also to the women and men on the ground.
But this is the first time that, honestly, an elected official, I mean, from the days of even Cory, ERAP, FDR, this is the first time a really popular president has said, no, I am for population control. It's the first time.
I think he specifically said he's for the RH. I think he said population control, though. But,
but the RH bill
to actually put this very strong. And that's why I wish that now it's the time, if you want to prove yourself and a thing like that, I beseech President Noynoy to please make this a priority bill.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I mean, if you want this argument to go over, and if you want everything to be over, you want all the animosity and all the hate that's going around, and so let's just vote on the bill already. Because if we're going to drag this argument all the way into January or all the way into the next Congress, we're just going to keep the animosity going. We're just going to keep the arguments. Because the argument's already getting twisted. So let's just settle this all by voting on this already.
Okay.
And so I'm challenging the church and its followers, the people that they have requested to support them in all these rallies and protest actions. First, read the bills, read the proposals, study them, and then make the people decide. Let's be open about it, and let's refrain from issuing threats, and let's refrain from,
pointing fingers when you should be pointing at your own house.
Usually when you point an accusing finger, four others are...
Four fingers are aiming at you. Yeah, my mom said that.
All right. Okay, now Bart Lepile has a question for Carlos. We're hearing rumors that someone paid you to dress like Rizal and hold a protest in the middle of a mass offering. Is that true?
Who would have paid me?
Yeah.
Who would have paid me? And if it's the Reproductive Health Advocacy Movement, let me tell you right now, they have no money. So if you'd like to please donate to their cause, please feel free.
Okay, but where did that come from?
I don't know. There's a lot of twisted things going out there, and I'm kind of it's kind of unfortunate because a lot of people out there actually would probably be on our side if it just wasn't for my method, and that much I have to admit.
Yeah.
But as long as
you apologize,
I apologize for the method. But if you agree with my message, then please find your